Philosopher here. I'm sorry. What's going on? Philosopher here, and we are big chilling on this Sunday evening. Hello, we've got some topics to talk about, not a lot. We also got some gaming to do as well. So we're going to be doing that today, having some fun, trying to continue to grow the channel and grow the community, all that kind of good stuff. But what is going on, guys? Hello. Hi, how you doing? Good evening to you too. What's up, Tech? Yeah, so I had a couple of topics, right? Let me turn this down just a smidge. I love this song. I'm biased. I'm biased, of course. I made it, so of course I'm gonna be biased. But anyways, it's the holiday season's over, right? We're about to get back into all the things and all that kind of good stuff, and I've been trying to avoid the news as much as possible. So I have not been like deeply studying the lore of our country right now. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've watched some things, of course, and I did come across a video that I'm actually gonna watch. It's about 10 minutes long, and then I'm really eager to get into Little Nightmares. I am talking behind the scenes with my editor, but also he's in the holiday season too, so he's taking some time off. You did hear a voice. Yeah, so I have a video from one of my more popular YouTubers that I follow. One of my more preferred YouTubers get some information from for certain topics across some of the political and social topics here. I want to say his name is Anthony Speaks. Hold on, I'll look it up. I'm trying to do it from memory here. Antonio Speaks. Yeah, he covers some topics, so I really enjoy the topics he covers, and he actually covers a topic that I actively tend to avoid, which is talking about iShowSpeed, of all people. I'm not a big iShowSpeed fan. I don't really talk about him too much in general on like my content at all, because I have no reason to, but he has some good stuff to say about him, and I do believe in platforming people when they do well and having that be part of the discussion. And so we'll watch that 10-minute video, and then I'm really eager to play some more Little Nightmares because I want to play part 2. I did just upload my part 2 of Little Nightmares 1 playthrough. It's 2 sessions, pretty easy. I'm pretty happy I was able to beat it in 2 sessions. Kind of a mixed feeling when you beat games so quickly. I think the game is just a short game. I don't think it's me being good at the game or anything like that. But yeah, so let's go ahead and pull up this video. I'm going to go ahead and get my YouTube vertical chat or horizontal vertical chat up as well, so that you guys can hear me too and see me. So let's go ahead and pull that up for myself and yourself and ourselves. One big happy family. I'm telling you, I got to figure out how to use this YouTube like shortcuts. Give me automation with the, oh man, I'll have to look into that. I'm gonna pull up YouTube on my phone though, so I don't miss anything in the chat, because sometimes YouTube does not like to be friendly with my chatbot. Yep, but it doesn't like to be friendly with my chatbot, so sometimes I have to re-add YouTube to it. And so I'll do that right now, and then we'll get into this video. Okay, maybe it was that easy. I don't know. Am I coming through okay? Let's see how this looks. Okay, that seems okay. Yeah, that seems okay. That seems all right. Make sure it's good on here. And I will reintroduce the topic as well. I'm thinking. Anyways, there's a few things I want to think about behind the scenes. I'm switching some of my scenery to my backdrop. I'm trying to create and finalize my Where's the Line logo. I've basically only been using my video editor to design the logo, and then I redesigned it in Canva using like some of the templates that are already in there. So I'm going to keep it simple. I worked on a design years ago when my friend and I were going to do the podcast for Where's the Line. I really like that name, and I might start using it more in my YouTube videos at the beginning or towards the end. somewhere as a call to action, perhaps, of just where is the line? Like, where is the line between sanity and insanity? Where is the line between being rational and just being batshit crazy? Where is the line between holding people accountable and being so blinded by neutralism that you really don't see the forest from the trees, right? Those are the kind of concepts here. But I was able to watch this short video. This is from Antonio Speaks. He is a YouTuber that covers a lot of social political topics. I'm a fan of his. He's a little bit younger, so I get to hear that perspective from him. I want to say he's part of some of the other content creators that I've seen as well. And I thought this was interesting because it's about going to Africa. iShowSpeed goes to Africa, and the main focus is on how he was treated while he was in Africa, which is, spoiler alert, positively, in the larger conversation about how people of color are sometimes treated in different nations. And I talked about this a little bit in the video that I'm trying to pump out now. That should be up this week. I was hoping to have it up today. Editing software did not want to work with me, but it is what it is. Let's get into this video from Antonio Speaks talking about iShowSpeed.
Streamer, and I've actually criticized him on the channel before. One thing in particular that I don't like was like him feeding into the racist stereotypes and basically being a minstrel show, you know, eating fried chicken on camera, like just doing all this other weird stuff. Now, despite of that, he's doing something right now that is very positive, and I don't think he realized how big it is. For the past year or so, he's been going around to different countries, streaming, basically doing IRL stream. And to kick the year off, iShowSpeed decided to do a Africa tour. Now, as American, when we hear Africa, we think of teepees, huts, dirt roads, you know, things of that nature. And this is just another form of propaganda. Like, I remember when I was younger, man, getting ready for school, I used to have the TV on. Every morning, it used to be Feed Africa ads. You would see like a skinny African little kid with a white woman, you know, saying, oh, give us money to feed them. You know, these are the type of things we see. On the other hand, a lot of Africans, the way they see us is, especially Black Americans, they see us as violent. They see us in movies shooting each other. So it's a disconnect that is not either of our own faults. But the point is, iShowSpeed is breaking the African propaganda right now, and I love it. So this is one of the countries, Mozambique. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I don't want to butcher the name, but just look at it. Like, it looks like a very modern city.
I think that's just Mozambique, if I'm not mistaken. I heard the video while I was taking a shower, but I didn't see the video. So I was like, maybe he's talking about a different country that's not Mozambique. But real quick, I will say that what he said is why I'm not a big fan of iShowSpeed. For me, iShowSpeed is a representation of the younger generation and their perception or their role models for Black Americans, right? And in my opinion, from what I had seen, right, this is curated clips and compilations of YouTube algorithms of iShowSpeed doing dumb shit, right? I think maybe it thought I would think it was funny. I think YouTube thought that I would think it was funny, but I didn't. I saw it as disappointing as a young Black man representing not just himself, but whether he likes it or not, he represents a race. It's just kind of the way it is. When you're Black, you represent your race, whether you like it or not. And when I say you represent your race, I mean that everything you do or say is a reflection on Black people, because people like to stereotype shit and we can't stop people from stereotyping shit. So whether we like it or not, whether we choose to or not, we are a representation of our own race, regardless, because it is human nature, at least American nature, to stereotype people based off the color of their skin. So that said, though, I think that in the later years, in the more recent years, I've been seeing more positive clips of iShowSpeed and really turning me around to the fact that maybe it's not so black and white, right? And so that's what caught my attention on this, was that a YouTuber that I follow and respect, who tends to think similarly to how I think, or at least criticizes things on a similar thought process, giving some credit to iShowSpeed.
And I blame the American, school system for, like, this is another one of, I don't know how to pronounce the name, Mozambique. I think Mozambique, and it looks like Miami, bro.
Clearly he doesn't play Apex, I think it's Apex that has Mozambique in it. Now, granted, I'm not saying it with an accent. I'm saying Americanized. I've never heard an African say Mozambique before, but I've heard it pronounced enough in media to know it's a pretty popular country. But hey, that's a criticism on him. Some people don't hear about those sort of things. Not a big deal.
You know what I'm saying? That's the vibe it's giving me. Beautiful. Everybody's showing love, man. That's one thing I love about Speed when they do these. Like, he really goes into the culture. It's all love too, bruh. Hey, hey.
I never realized how tall this guy is. Now, I will say that I think that similar to I put him in the same category as like the Logan brothers, right? So I don't put him in just in the category of a black content creator. He's like a nuisance streamer in my eyes, right? I've only seen clips where he's being a nuisance streamer or saying or doing something stupid like Antonio mentioned earlier, eating chicken, being a stereotype, being a minstrel show, those sort of things. So I haven't really put much time into thinking about the psychology, like where is his head when he's doing this? Because a lot of content creators nowadays, maybe myself included, have this demeanor where I can't tell when they're being serious and when they're not being serious. And that's not a big deal in isolation, but when you go out in public and you go out into different cultures, different countries, and you represent, not even just talking about representation. Yes, you do represent your country and your race, but that's not relevant to my point. My point is that you go out there and you leave an impression on these people, and the way that you act, there's a branch of sorts. One, it's just your interaction with those people, right? Is it a pleasant thing? Do they feel like you're offending them? Again, not so cut and dry, because like everywhere else, people can be overly sensitive. People can be overly desensitized. So just because one person is offended and one person isn't, doesn't mean anything in isolation. But when you start seeing in general, like the general culture does not like this or does like this sort of thing, that's where you can get more legitimate information and feedback about how people are behaving. There's Johnny Somali. The dude got arrested multiple times. I don't think there's many people who can say that he's doing things respectfully, right? If you don't know who he is, he's a nuisance streamer that goes to I think he got arrested in Japan or in the Philippines, and just being disrespectful, just doing the worst things possible, right? Whereas IShowSpeed, he always seemed like someone who just was not aware of other people's cultures. Like he wasn't intentionally being a jerk or being an asshole. It was more like he was trying to just be who he normally was and not taking into consideration that people do things differently in different areas, right? So I don't think that IShowSpeed was ever someone malicious, right? That's where my headspace is when I think of him. I think of him as stupid and just kind of money hungry, and in my eyes, nothing dangerous other than just a bad representation of a certain group of people, whether it be content creators or black people or Americans, right? Now, we can see that's not the case here. We can see that people are receiving him well, and this is great because it's his own people. And when I see that they are embracing him, I think that's really beautiful. And I talked about this before with Static Shock, where for the first time, you go to a place and you're just a kid. You're not a black kid, right? I think that somebody else says something later on that touches on that a little bit, but you can see here in Cape Town in South Africa that, they're receiving him very well. And I think that's really cool to see.
Hey.
See, I didn't watch the video, I only heard it.
They're gonna beat him probably in every athletic thing he does.
Wow. Oh, landed on the one foot? A little awkward, but hey. He is tall. He's in Africa and he's still tall.
Yeah.
He's got to be taller than me. I'm 6'5".
But the vibes is immaculate, man.
Is he another guy from IShowSpeed? Like he's wearing the same jersey or a similar jersey? Or is this an African? Damn. He's a heavier dude. I can tell by the way he's flipping, but like he is graceful, dude.
Like this is
beautiful.
Fire.
Pokemon over here. Oh wow, I didn't realize what that was in the background.
Yo, that is fire.
I'm guessing that's one of his sayings that he does. Like the hand thing looks like a soccer thing. I know he's a soccer guy. I get it.
I think this is when he was in Angola. He's been to 3 countries now.
I wonder if they taught him how to do the dance.
Hey.
Right, I wonder the behind the scenes or the non-clips.
The vibes are just absolutely immaculate. Now, the thing that's really been getting me, man, is just the ignorance. And like I say, I don't really blame these people because it's what's being pushed to them about Africa. I was the same way until a few years ago. I started like looking into things. I'm like, damn, it's really nice over here. But yeah, man, people are really shocked.
That's a good point. Hold on here. There we go. Yeah, that I haven't seen this a lot in my older age, but when I was his age, I saw a lot of people stereotyping Africa as if it's like teepees and huts and sticks and spears and, you know, spear chuckers, that term. I'm kind of surprised that that's still a stereotype. I thought by now, especially after Black Panther came out and Africa was a little bit more popularized on a different light, that not all of Africa is like what you think it is. And the fact that he's saying that in 2006, when was this video? 2026, excuse me, 4 hours ago. This video is only 4 hours old. I guess it just popped up when I saw it, because I saw it about an hour ago, right? So the fact that that's still a stereotype even today is kind of wild to me, if I'm being honest with you. So let's get back to this though.
Niggas in Africa, these niggas got drip, and look at the city lights, bro. This is cleaner than New York. Like, look at this. My son is in, like, I think it's in Angola or some shit. Nigga, this shit look like downtown Houston. Like, I know they got self-driving cars in this bitch, man. Like, come on, look how futuristic.
Very diverse. I think I saw a lot of Middle Eastern or Indian people there.
And shit. Like, come on, man. But this stream opened my eyes to a lot of shit, man.
That's wild that people still think that, right? And I have to also think about this. We have to also think about this in terms of who has access to what. Now, this is a guy who, if he sounded like this when I was, you know, still in grade school, he probably wouldn't be able to afford internet, right? This guy clearly has internet. I don't know the context. Maybe he's over a friend's house. I'm assuming it's his stuff, right? He doesn't sound like he's the least bit unfamiliar with using live streaming software. So he just didn't know this. And he seems like he has technology, he has access to information. And so we're in an age where we're in the information era and people still don't know that. That's weird to me. Like, let me know what you think about that. But to me, that seems odd that even today, there's still people who think that it's just huts and dirt and lions and shit. You know, people not being fully clothed. That's so weird.
A lot of people don't realize, man.
Car on the street, bro. Look at that, bro. This shit look like a futuristic LES. Futuristic
LES. Oh,
Brooklyn. Like, what the fuck? Like, look at the streets.
Yo, so I'm kind of confused. Like, I show speeds in Africa, and like, how? Like, they have Wi-Fi.
He's British. So.
I never knew that. And like, they have cars, houses. Like, shit's crazy.
Is he being funny?
It's funny, bro. I can't be mad at him. I mean, if you ain't.
I'm skeptical.
Cars, though, that's you're a dumbass. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical of this guy. Like, I think he's just taking this as an opportunity to be racist, right? I am very cynical on this sort of thing, and maybe he doesn't know any better, right? I'm not trying to attack this person's character, right? I think that calling someone racist is attacking their character to push back on myself. However, I don't think it's in his case, I think it would be malicious if he were doing that, because he's just trying to make YouTube content. And I don't understand, right? Okay, so here's the thing. He saw this and he could have chosen to look it up, but instead of educating himself, he chose to make a video about this. And I don't have the full context, right? So I'm trying to think as if someone's viewing this content for the first time from a reaction video, right? And I'll elaborate in a second further. But to go along with this train of thought, this guy right here, no, not that guy right there. Where are you? There you are. That guy right there. He could have just Googled it and then been like, oh, cool. And then he could have been like, hey, so obviously this guy's a content creator, I would imagine. Like, I don't think this is his first video, right? He's probably put more videos up there. I'm making assumptions, and if need be, we can verify later on. But I also want to just point this logic out for people who do this and are content creators, right? He sees the video. I didn't know people in Africa had cars. In my version, he looks it up first. Then he goes to his camera and says, man, I saw a stream today that was really awesome and opened my eyes. I showed speed in Africa, and I always thought blah, 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 blah. But then I did some research and saw that, no, this is this isn't an outlier, right? Africa has this and blah, 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 blah. But instead he goes, huh, I didn't know Africans had cars. That's crazy. Like, I'm sorry. You see what I'm saying though, is that instead of being able to educate himself, he's exploiting the situation, right? Whether or not he knew, in my opinion, is irrelevant because he has the fucking internet. He could have looked it up, but instead he wanted to play an ignorant white guy and make content off of that. And we know how people on the internet reacting as ignorant white guys get received. The ignorant white people love him. The angry black people will hate him, right? You know, so like it's just a way for him to farm rage content, in my opinion. Like if I'm thinking about it strategically, he could have done this a lot better and a lot more tactfully, and he chose to go out of his way to be surprised about this.
Sorry. And this is why I hate diaspora wars so much, man, because in the grand scheme of things, Africans, they love us, and us black Americans, we love y'all too.
Y'all probably wondering why I'm crying.
That is another stereotype that I've heard before, and I've only seen it as like African immigrants specifically. I've never thought of it as Africans in Africa hate black people, because I know that there are African immigrants here. Like I think of it as a group of not all African immigrants, but there are a certain type. Like in my opinion, the Seventh-day Adventist Africans are the ones that are the most consistently hateful towards white or black Americans, right? They are a very specific group of African immigrants that don't make up the whole. But being in Michigan, being near Stevensville when I was, a few years ago, there's a large number of Seventh-day Adventist African immigrants that come over here. I don't know why. I haven't looked at the lore of that. But those people, when they see a certain kind of black person, not all black people, black Americans, when they see a certain kind of black American, they hate those people. I don't think it's all black Americans either. But somehow this kind of stuff gets generalized and gets spread further. And it's interesting seeing what stereotypes there still are that I'm not aware of, right? I'm not in that conversation where I've seen people express that kind of stereotype.
I've been watching Speed streams. And I'm seeing all the love that he's getting.
Hell yeah.
In Angola. He's in South Africa. And he's getting massive amount of love. And the way that he was treated in Europe was disgusting.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
But
we're
to
going to talk
see
about
him
that.
be a black man from the United States of African descent and be able to go back to the continent and be treated like a human by civilized African people. When we've been taught that Africa is primitive, that it's dangerous, don't go back. They have this, they have that. They don't want you, they don't like you.
Who's telling these people this, right? This goes back to a conversation, and I thought that this was a mom, because I was taking a shower and I was just playing it on the speaker, so I didn't see who was talking, but the way that she was crying almost made it sound like an older woman. And I think I heard him on the phone with his mom one time, and I don't know what the relationship is, but I thought maybe it was an older woman, right? This looks like someone who's in their 20s, maybe early 30s, or maybe they just have good skin. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I grew up hearing these things, but I'm 38 now. I'm almost 40. And I thought that people weren't still hearing these things. And it makes me wonder who is telling them these things, because what I do hear is white people, not all, but like I hear a specific group of white people brushing this off, right? Acting like this doesn't still happen. And so I'm left kind of confused, because I hear a lot of white people or even black people, a lot of conservatives. I'm sorry. It is specifically conservatives tend to be this group, or Christian nationalists tend to be this group of people, right? To put kind of a label on it, which I don't like to do. They're pretty consistent with this sort of anti-mindset of you're downplaying your experience. You're not being told these things. You're not hearing these things. These things, no one says those sort of things, right? So I don't know if other black people are saying this. Maybe like parents that are my age are saying this to their kids, right? But the way that she's reacting, like she's in tears. So most young Americans are smart nowadays. They have the internet. When they're being bullshitted, they know when they're being bullshitted by the parents and their own like group of people. A lot of them have the internet. They can look up these things. And I still think that they could have looked this up, right? They could have taken the time. And I think it goes against my earlier argument about that white kid that was saying that people have cars. Sort of, because she's not talking about the technology fully. She's talking about more so how he's being received. But either way, you know, I want to just kind of play devil's advocate against myself while I'm making these points to be fully fair, right? Even though I still stand by everything I'm saying or have said, I think there's ways to push back against what I'm saying. And I'm trying to give you guys some specific ways to do so that we can explore later on, right? So anyways, I want to be happy that, you know, she's hold on. Ah, man. Yeah, there we go. I want to be happy that she is crying happy tears, right? That's what this is. She's crying happy tears of the stereotype she had in her head is wrong, right? That's what's happening here, is that she is being exposed to the fact that the way that she viewed a situation was just wrong. And she's happy about it, but also, you know, when you realize something, when you learn something, that means that other things, other worldviews, or when your worldview changes specifically, that means that other things that you believe that are adjacent to that might also be wrong. Like, for example, the people that told her this, the way that she sees those people may now be changed forever, right? Whether we like it or not, the people that told her this lie or fed her this information, her perception can potentially be forever altered. I know in my life, I have, growing up and being Christian, when I got exposed to more things about the way the world worked, I became a lot less receptive to the people who are forcing Christianity down my throat, right? I learned that isn't the way the world works. I learned that more than likely those things are not true, right? Those people have the burden of proof, not the people who oppose Christianity have the burden of proof. Now, that's a whole nother argument, I understand, so we won't get into that. But I'm just giving you a very strong example of how the domino effect of a stereotype can really impact somebody, because we don't talk about that aspect of it. It's like, oh, you have a stereotype, you're racist. Oh, you have a stereotype, you've been brainwashed your whole life. Oh, you have a stereotype, and those things can be true, right? You can be brainwashed and you can be racist and you can be a good person all in one group. But there also are domino effects that happen when worldviews are broken or exposed or challenged, etc. That isn't just a black and white scenario. So I digress.
That's all I hear, bro. Even people in my comments, they be like, bro, why you be taking up for Africans so much? They don't like you. They don't. I'm like, bro, y'all gotta stop being on the internet so much. You know what I'm saying? Even in the sense of being on the internet, like a lot of the love I get is from African people, like my people, I'm descendant to them. They send me messages all the time, man. Much love. We love y'all. Like, don't fall for that shit. Like, I get that all the time.
And to see an African American man with his stature go back to the motherland and be treated with so much respect. This is what our people fought for. This is what they fought for when they fought against Jim Crow and segregation. This is what the slave revolts were about. This is what it's always been about. It's to be able to go back home to a home that you've never been and be unapologetically black and not have to think about being black. Just being able to have your natural hair and your brown skin and not be judged. And not be racially profiled.
So two things. One, this does remind me of the Static Shock cartoon that I talked about before. It's a DC cartoon with a black superhero, and he goes to Africa. And in that, you hear the quote, "For the first time in my life, I feel like a kid and not a black kid. Is this what it feels like for you in America all the time?" And that makes me go back and think about earlier where iShowSpeed is dancing with those other kids. And I don't know how to articulate this, because this can still be true in Africa, but it'll be true in a different way. It can't be true in the same way because of the context. And in America, if you see a large group of black people doing pretty much anything, especially when it's loud, you know that in general, unless they're around a predominantly like culturally aware like area, right? It doesn't have to be other black people, just a culturally accepting region, largely so, you're not going to be receiving well a bunch of kids dancing and being loud with cameras and stuff on the sidewalk. But that doesn't mean it's not true in Africa. Like, those kids could be a nuisance, like a large group of like maybe normally well behaved, but because right now it's a really big situation, they're all celebrating and having a good time and not really thinking about through traffic, whatever. I don't know. I don't have that context to say that. So it could still be somewhat of a nuisance, right? It could still be a nuisance streaming situation as a whole for older people, because you see mostly younger people. I'm giving that context just to say that it's a possibility, not that it's true, right? I don't know one way or the other. I'm just giving it a chance to exist as an idea. I don't think that's the case. And even if it were, it wouldn't be those black kids, right? It wouldn't be those black kids. It would be those kids. And if you don't get that, I'm not sure if I can make it make sense for you, right? But if you don't get it, then I would challenge you on your own to think about why I'm saying that, right? I can't think for you because I grew up as a black person. I can't think fully as a non-black or non-person of color. So for people who are like, I don't get what the difference between those loud kids and those black kids, right? If you don't understand that, then you might be either sheltered or you might be in denial. You might not be really aware. Like, you might just be ignorant, not in a mean, like, stupid way, like in a mean, you just haven't been exposed enough to the context behind the scenes, or you might be dismissing things, which would fall into denial. But I think it's important to make that distinction. Now, in Africa, it is just them being kids, right? And it is one thing to be told to stop doing that as a kid, right? I've had that happen to me. I'm doing something, you're throwing rocks at a car as a kid. That's just a bad thing. I don't care what fucking race you are. That's a bad thing to do. Don't do that. Don't throw rocks at cars. I was dumb. My friend was dumb. He was white. I was black. We were both stupid. It was a 50-50 situation, right? Black and white both being dumb. Now, there are situations where just because of the color of my skin, I'm being told to not do things. And that just feels different. And it's not something right now I can fully articulate, but it is noticeable no matter how old you are. It feels off. It feels wrong. It doesn't feel like they're being fair. It feels like they're punishing you because of what you are, not who you're being in the moment. And that's the distinction that I'm trying to make here, is that IShowSpeed is just being a kid in that clip, right? He's just dancing in that clip. He's not, they're doing backflips. They're dancing, right? They're not actually, the way he's dancing, the way that they're behaving, that's just kid stuff. And I know I'm saying the same thing over and over again here. I get that, but I really want to emphasize this because I think there's a large group of people who need to hear this, but also will refuse to understand it or can't understand it. And that sucks because those are the people that I'm talking to. I'm not talking to people who agree with me. If you agree, then great. I love it. Share it. I'll take this second to say, if you do like my content, if you do agree with what I'm saying and you want other people to see this, that please on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. Help me get the word out there. Help me keep doing what I love to do. But that said, that is an important distinction I want people to really hammer home in their own head. And I want people to really hammer home in their own head. I want you to think about what, if you don't get it, right? If you don't understand, hey, stop that, you kids. And then, hey, stop that, in parentheses, you black kids, right? Or you, in parentheses, black kids. That's just different. They don't want you around. They don't think that you're deserving of whatever it is. I'm making some assumptions, but I've been around it enough. I've talked to enough people to know that these are genuinely accurate mindsets that people do. And they don't always consciously do that. When they're yelling at black kids, they're not consciously knowing they're being racist. They think that they're justified, right? You can tell by the way they're behaving and when they're surprised, when they get shut down sometimes, when you have good cops who stop a white woman from shutting down a lemonade stand, right? They're just doing a lemonade stand, they get shut down, and you hear a good cop actually say something where when you see a cop come here and say that these people are doing things legally and they still want them gone. I watch a lot of clips of cop audits. I see this stuff a lot. I don't know, it's like a guilty pleasure for me to watch. So I see this kind of behavior. I've seen this kind of behavior in my own life when I was younger. And I am someone of the mindset that I thought racism was slowly going away. But you got young kids like this still making content and talking about it and just being surprised. That's sad to me. Let's get back to where we were.
And not be racially profiled and not be killed. I love the love that he is getting.
Now in the video, she brought up a point how, you know, he went to Africa and he was treated like a human. It was civilized. These are things they tell us that Africans aren't. Now let's go back to when I Show Speed traveled to Europe. And I remember seeing the clips they were trending, man. They was treating them like trash. They were throwing stuff at them, making monkey noises, calling them the N-word. These are the civilized people, you know, the proper people, the Europeans. No, these people were animals.
Like, bro, I didn't even see the KFC, bro. Who said that?
Somebody said, well.
Who said that? Who said well? Who said that? Come here. Nah, come here, bro. Why you say well, bro? You be in my chat saying that shit, bro? Yeah. Why you say that shit?
I don't know what that interaction was. I'm hesitant to have an opinion on that because, again, I don't think I Show Speed was legitimately mad there. I felt like he was in character. But it doesn't mean that his character wasn't legitimately mad on behalf of the person that I Show Speed is. I don't know his real name. So I wanted to use his real name there, but I don't know his real name. So we're gonna go past that one because I don't feel like that one I can be fair on.
Making monkey noises, y'all.
I mean, that's messed up. Latvia, not Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom's people.
Throwing bananas. Yo, these.
If you couldn't see, they were throwing bananas at him.
Man, and these are the same people that love calling black people violent, uncivilized.
All right, real quick here. What's up, Pump? I am hesitant to really have a strong opinion about this because I feel like there might be subcontext here that I don't have, right? I don't know his community well enough. I don't know his culture well enough. And it could be very easy to take, maybe he on his own, like not in a racist way, or maybe to play it up a little bit, he does do monkey stuff on his stream. Like maybe he behaves like a monkey. Because he streams for hours and hours and hours and makes content, I'm sure he makes a ton of content. Like I see clips of him all the time. Like I'm sure he's a IRL streamer, which probably means he streams more than like 8 hours a day or something like that, right? So I think it's important, even though Antonio, right? This is where maybe me and Antonio differ a little bit. I think it's worth pointing out that I Show Speed may have played into the racism for this to be a thing. Because if I were a young content creator and did not have the same ethics that I have now or the same values and morals that I have now, it would be very easy to just play into the like tell a couple of people, encourage a couple of people to bring some monkey stuff, to do some racist shit, right? It'd be very easy to plant that seed and to pay a couple of people, you know, under the table. You pay somebody that pays somebody that pays somebody else and say, hey, go do this, right? So I think this sounds like if you watch internet streams all the time, maybe this sounds more paranoid than not. But as someone who's worked in sales for 10 years, who's worked in game design is one of the most manipulative things you will ever learn. When you get into like the nuance, not in school, I'm talking about like the after school training where you're learning how to specifically manipulate people to keep playing your game. You just see the world differently. You understand that if video games have hours and hours and hours and days and days and days of training specifically about how to manipulate people to buy stuff or to play games, do you really think that there aren't other people who are much more organized and much richer that aren't doing the same thing? So I'm sorry, I can't trust I Show Speed that he didn't play this up himself or that he didn't read this culture on his own. This is a totally different comparison. But if you're not shutting down racism, if you're not speaking up about racism, then people might be, if they think that it's okay for you to be racist because you're not shutting it down, then it's very possible that these people think that that's what he wants or think that that's cool, or, you know, that they just don't care, right? There's so many different possibilities that I cannot in good conscience say that this racism is authentic racism, if that makes sense. That's a really weird thing to say. I'm sorry, but there's a lot of grifters out there, and I'm still skeptical towards I Show Speed. However, that said, that does not take away from the fact that these people of their own free will are still being racist. So look, I can potentially point the blame at both sides. I can point the blame at both parties here. However, one party is for sure being racist, those European kids, and one group is speculatively playing into the racism. I show speed. I don't know that, and I can't confirm that. So I'm not going to act like or pretend like that is the truth or that is a fact and then judge him based off of that made up assumption, which is a huge aside, but is an important thing to point out that a lot of people do. Like, I'm making a conspiracy theory about I show speed, but I don't believe, or I'm not acting like it's true for sure. I'm calling it out as a possibility so that I don't dismiss that later on because of my bias. Once I've said these things, I want to believe them no matter what, right? Like, that's not true for me, but a lot of people act this way. So no, I don't believe it's a conspiracy that he played it up. There might be a legitimate reason. He might still be responsible, like I said, for the last comparison where maybe he doesn't shut it down enough. Maybe I show speed doesn't shut it down enough. Now, enough is another important word, right? There's so many tangents here. It's so, I hate how my brain works because I can't quit this topic until I make all these points. Just because he's partly responsible doesn't mean it's intentional. If I say, hey, stop that racism, but there's like millions of people in my chat and they keep finding more creative ways to doing it to where like the bots and the mods can't keep up, he's making an effort to stop the racism, but it's not enough. That's another scenario that I made up in my head. I don't know. I don't follow the streamer, so I can't say one way or the other. But I'm giving examples of possibilities and reasons for why he might still be involved in the fostering of people being racist towards him in public. But that does not mean that his intentions are the same or should be punished the same way as these kids. In my opinion, no matter what scenario, unless he's paying them or encouraging them like intentionally, unless that's the scenario, those kids are to blame. Those kids are the ones that need to be reprimanded or whatever. Like those are the ones in the wrong. And I agree, like they're being savages right now for the sake of clout. For like, people do dumb shit no matter what, but people are going to do racist dumb shit if they're on camera. I don't know what it is about a camera, but y'all Gen Zs, y'all Gen Alpha, you like making yourself look stupid on camera. And I don't understand, like there's no positive outcome except for maybe a little bit of clout and a little bit of money.
Hey, look, I like this comparison. I'm going off topic. Say a fat person, they be like, I'm hungry, bro. Somebody gonna be like, oh yeah, hell yeah, you is hungry with your fat ass. But if a skinny person, or if I said I'm hungry, they're gonna be like, yeah, let's get something to eat.
Bruh.
Y'all get the analogy? But like when black people do some shit, it's like, hell yeah. I hope y'all got that analogy because I heard that somewhere and it was funny as hell to me.
I get it.
What's wrong?
I get it.
Hey, chat. President will come here. Okay. Where my phone at?
So, personally, like, so he ate the banana, right? I think, if I had to guess, this is his way of not letting the racism get to him, right? What do you do when you're in a situation and you're known as a certain personality? You're kind of in character right now. What do you do? And this is, again, I didn't watch the video, I only heard it, but this is an example of what I mean when you play into the racism, right? So in his mind, he could be thinking, I'm not going to let this get to me. I'm going to eat this banana because it has potassium in it. It's good for me. Screw y'all. Free food. Peace. I'm rich. You're not. Bye. Right? That could be what's going on in his head. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But the reaction of those kids could be positive reinforcement that, oh, he ate the banana. He acknowledged me. Like doing the racist thing got him to acknowledge me, right? That's not his fault, right? But it kind of is at the same time because he was the cause and then there was an effect, right? There was multiple causes, but the cause, the effect, the cause of him eating that banana could affect these kids to keep doing it more. And that's a small example of what I was saying earlier, where what he's doing could reinforce it or encourage it, not intentionally so. He could just be eating a banana and not thinking about it as racist at all. Like he could be trying his best to just ignore it and not give any attention to it. And I think we've been gaslit into thinking that the debug system works, right? What does it drop everything? What is it? Like it's like drop everything and walk away. I can't remember exactly, but in my school, the debug system was some sort of like anti-bullying thing where it's like, that shit don't work in real life, first off. And it definitely doesn't work when you have positive reinforcement for bad behavior, which is clout, right? It no longer matters about whether or not you as a person being bullied walks away or ignores it. Because if you ignore it, but people are still liking it and giving it views, right? In school, it was before social media, it was just people laughing at you and or laughing at what that person just did. The laughter that was caused was because this person was a bully. Therefore, I'm reinforced to keep being a bully. Regardless of, okay, you walk away, I trip you, everyone laughs and you fall, or I trip you into a trash can. Like it just escalates. So I don't know why I was taught this in the school. I never believed it for a day in my life. And thank God I had parents that encouraged me to fight back. I fought those kids and fucked them up. They stopped, right? And that's not the option that he has, though. He doesn't have that option. He can't just go out there and start throwing hands, because then what happens, which is a stereotypical black thing to do against this is a stereotypical thing that you see all the time. You see it in media all the time, where you antagonize the black person into causing violence first, right? You get just close enough and do just enough to be worthy of hitting you. But then as soon as someone tries to hit you, you play the victim. That is like the white guy 101 tactic. And I'm sorry if I sound racist with that, but it is a tale as old as time when it comes to blacks and whites. You antagonize, not all you, right? I'm talking about a specific racist person that knows what I'm talking about, and not the ones that don't do this, right? Not all of you do this. I'm not trying to lump all white people into this group at all. I always say this at least once during my content, but I'm not lumping all of you into one group. It's just a specific group of people who happen to be white, because you can't be black and do this the same way. You can do it. It'll just be different context. Now, it's just a whole thing, right? And I don't want to go down this rabbit hole any further than I am, because it's a 10-minute video. But you kind of see the point that I'm saying here is that these points, they get so much more muddy when you're making content, because I don't like iShowSpeed for the most part, right? I have seen some clips that have been redeeming, and I don't hate iShowSpeed, right? He's not spreading hate, but you can see clearly in this clip, without the full context of the hours and hours and hours of long content that led up to this point, he's not doing anything wrong, and these people are just doing this. And I think that's fucked up. And I don't care how much iShowSpeed encouraged this. You're not being racist because of iShowSpeed. You're being racist because you're a fucking racist, or you're an opportunist, or both.
It's sad, bro. It's sad.
Bro, stop playing with me, bro.
See. Google Translate. I'm going to Google.
So I'm guessing book equals the nick, and he's trying to be funny. Just trying racism. Ha ha ha. These be the 10-year-olds on Instagram liking all these people posts. They think this shit funny. It's not. You're a cornball.
He's scared of me?
A little bit, don't worry.
Why he scared of me?
No idea.
Come on, little man. Come on.
We know why he's scared.
I'm hesitant to have an opinion on this. I think it's just a kid being scared. I can't say because he's black.
They know
I can't.
We know why he's scared. Anyway, man, the experience from Europe.
It looked like the dad was a fan and the kid was just scared. The guy is taller than his dad. Like it could totally be because he sees black skin and he's scared, but the dad's a fan. I don't know why he would have stopped if the dad was teaching him racism. So I like to be fair, and I like to point out when things are clearly when it's clear that there is no one true answer, right? The clip of the kids doing the monkey stuff, I'm sorry, there's very little way that out of context that's not racist, right? Unless there was some sign behind them saying do monkey shit, right? They were handing out bananas and giant monkeys at the entrance to the event. Unless something like that was happening, I'm sorry, there's no excuse for that. But a kid crying because a dude standing there, we have no clue what caused him to cry. We don't see the start of him crying. We don't see him walk up. So that's the kind of stuff where I'm like, you got to be careful. And I think those are the kind of examples where people want to lump me into a group because I feel very strongly about things and I call out things for what they are. People try to lump me into that group of just making assumptions. And I'm sorry. Find hard examples, right? Find hard examples of me being incredibly biased without a logical explanation backed up behind it and giving examples and I'm just completely wrong, right? And then bring points with that. Don't just say it. You got to bring points as to why I'm wrong. I don't think you'll find that very well.
Versus Africa was totally different. It was all love in Africa. When my mans went to Europe, they was treating him like he was. But I really just want to give I Show Speed his flowers, man. It's been a joy to see these clips. It really made my day, my week, really, bro. Seeing all that love, and it just tells you, and it just shows you, man, not to look, and it just shows you, man, not to feed into the propaganda. These black fatigue videos. Have y'all ever talked to a black person in real life? In my neighborhood alone, man, like, it's so many affluent black people off living great, black families, black fathers. Man, if you go into the real world, you will see what it really is. If you stay online, if you're fucking parasocial and shit, yeah, you might be black fatigue. You're gonna believe it. But when you go into the real world, you see this stuff for yourself, you'll be totally, shocked. But that's it, man. I hope y'all enjoyed.
Yeah, so I might as well start 2026 with some positivity rather than just focusing on the negativity. And I think that was a good clip to start it off with. I'm trying to think here. Oh, let me see what you said too. Hey, Lyndon, what's up, man? Sorry, I usually ignore the chat until I'm done with the video. I'm gonna think of a conclusion for the video, but I'm basically done with it now. Go viral for a little while and get money. Yeah. We can definitely chop it up about this in a second here. Yeah. That was Antonio Talks. I think okay, quick aside stream. I am trying to cut out certain words like like, and I think, and I've been doing this for years and I've gotten better at it over the years, but it's still so annoying when I hear myself do it. So just for future context, one, if you see me say it, you can just type in the word you can just say, I know, if you want to help me out with this, because I really want to break this habit because I hate editing my own work when I say that so often. So is another one. So, and you'll know the ands. When you don't end a sentence with and I hate that. And my wife and I both do this, and I hate it because like I try to notice it in her so that I can notice it in myself more often, but then it starts killing me when I hear anybody doing it, and I still do it. It just, I don't know. I need to talk to a writer, and I do need to start going to those writers. I found a writing and coffee thing in the PM tech, so I've been thinking about doing that. But hold on, let me think for a second here. Okay, I'll keep it simple. I can edit stuff later on anyway. I don't need to have a strong outro. But yeah, that was Antonio Talks covering I Show Speed. I think it was a really great video to start off 2006. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay. Let me go ahead and switch over I don't know if I'm live on YouTube or not. Actually, it says I'm live, but I don't see myself alive on there. So I got to double check that. Whoa. Go to YouTube Studio. Yeah, I don't think I'm live. It says I'm live, but I'm not. Like, I don't know what the deal is with that. My YouTube live is so jacked up. It's kind of annoying. Yeah, it's still stuck on this one. Maybe I didn't save it. Maybe I didn't save what it was. So let me stop that stream, and then, hey, maybe I'll start doing some gaming in a second here, and we'll get right into it. Because it seems like whenever I go live on YouTube, vertical, like people immediately hop in, just randos hop in. You get the crazies, but hey, they're not all going to be crazy. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I don't need to do anything. Oh, yeah, I do.